close your eyes and make yourself a nice hot chocolate. Heat up your milk in a nice saucepan till it's all nice and hot, and then add a whole lot of hot chocolate powder and some marshmallows. And then try to pour it into your cup because you put the marshmallows in the pot. That wasn't very good planning, was it? Ah, well. Previously on Melvin and Mother, Pigman and Little Piggy Wiggy were in trouble. They were in the Berlin Mint, where Eurovision was about to turn them into 500 euro notes by putting them through the printer. Now, Pigman and Little Piggy Wiggy was actually Father and Meryl. It was a very dangerous time for them. When we left them, Eurovision had just yelled out, "Turn on the printer!" Meanwhile, Melvin and Mother are outside waiting to see what happened, to be told to come in and help. Well, let's rejoin the story. "Turn on the printer!" called out Eurovision. One of the henchmen pressed the start button on the big printer control panel, and it whirled into life. And it started making lots of noises, machinery noises, which are normally quite satisfying, but on this occasion, it was more terrifying for Father and Meryl, because they were about to get printed. But then there was a very loud thunk noise that shook the building. "What was that?" yelled Eurovision over the growing noises from the printer. The henchmen looked at each other and shrugged. "Don't know, boss." Meanwhile, outside, Melvin and Mother had been waiting a long time by now, and they're not the most patient of waiters. So, needless to say, they'd been poking around at a few things in the Pigmobile. "Oh, I wonder if there's something here that can let us, X-ray vision the whole building and see what's going on inside?" asked Melvin. "Oh, that's a good idea," said Mother. "Have a poke around." Okay. Melvin poked around a bit and he's like, "Oh, this looks good. It says infrared camera. Right, I'll turn that one on." He clicked the switch and a screen lit up beside him. Ooh, this is it. This is looking good. Now I just reposition where it's pointing. He poked around at the controls and it moved around, and then they could see some shapes. "Oh, Mother, look, I can see right into the building, right through it to where there's some heat. Oh, I think that must be machinery. It's quite big and it's very hot. But over there, you see that? Oh, I do see that, Melvin. Well done. I think that's people and pigs." "Aye, I think you're right. I think it is," said Melvin. "Oh, I wonder if there's a way we can hear what's going on." "Ooh, that would be handy, wouldn't it?" said Mother. "Right, what have we got? Why don't you just push that thing on beside the control there, right beside the controls for the infrared camera? Push that button." "Oh, I don't know if I should push that one, Mother." "Oh, just push it." "But I don't know what it does, Mother." "Oh, just push it." "Okay, Mother." Melvin pushed the button, and there was a big noise that went clunk. "Mother, what was that?" "Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, let's have a look." She looked out behind them because they were parked facing away from the building. "Oh, Melvin, I think you've just fired the big grappling hook cannon at the building. We've now got a big rope attaching the Pigmobile to the building up there." "Oh no, Mother, that's not what we wanted. We were trying to be quiet. That was a very loud noise." "Oh, don't worry, Melvin. I'll get it out somehow. They won't know anything's happened." "Okay, Mother." Mother tried driving forward a bit. "I'll pull it out with the car." "Okay, Mother." She starts driving. She pushes down on the accelerator harder and harder. The car's going, the fiery exhaust out the back's getting bigger and bigger. It's like a blowtorch going. "I need more power," said Mother. "Right, I've been wondering what this button does." it's got a big cover over it so you don't accidentally push it, and it says danger. But underneath the cap, when I lift it up like this, I can see it says go baby go. That sounds like what we need right now. We need some more go. Okay, Mother. Right, I'm pushing it, said Mother. And she pushed the big button. And my goodness, what happened next? The flames out the back got 6 times longer. The roar of the engine, it went crazy. And then there was a great, massive groaning noise. Oh, Mother? Yes, Melvin? I'm not sure it's like pulling out the grappling hook. No, son? Well, what's that sound then? I'm seeing big cracks appear in the whole building, Mother. Oh. Well, I don't know how I can stop it now. Oh, well. There was a massive cracking noise. And the whole building was pulled right off its foundations and tipped over and came crashing down, boom, on the ground behind the Pigmobile. And a big chunk of the building that the Pigmobile's grappling hook was attached to came right off and started getting dragged along behind the Pigmobile that was now gaining speed, going along the driveway and out onto the road outside the Mint, and getting faster and faster. Mother? Yes, Melvin? Do you want to slow down? Oh, that's a good idea, Melvin. Mother pushed her foot on the brakes, but it didn't slow them down much at all. You better slow a bit more, Mother. I'm trying, Melvin. There was a smell of smoking brakes as the brakes just got burnt right to a crisp and melted. Oh, I don't think we can go much slower than this, Melvin. Okay, Mother, we're getting pretty fast. Melvin and Mother were zooming along through the Berlin streets with a big chunk of building towing behind them along the road going and now there was money starting to fly out of the building. That particular part of the building was where Eurovision had been stashing all the money he'd been printing. Billions upon billions of euros started fluttering out into the air behind them and getting blown into the sky by the exhaust blast from the Pigmobile. The people around started to see what was happening. They didn't understand, but once it started raining money from the sky, they certainly took a lot of interest. The crowds suddenly were everywhere, following the Pigmobile as it zoomed along in its crazy race down the streets, towing a big chunk of building with money coming out. Now, the experience for Father and Meryl back in the Mint was quite strange. If you've ever been in a building that's been pulled over on its side, you'll know exactly what it was like. But for the rest of us, it's pretty hard to explain. Meryl and Father were tied into the printing machine and about to face doom as they got printed. But all of a sudden, the whole building just suddenly started tipping over. The henchmen went tumbling down to the end of the room, along with Eurovision. They went crash onto the wall as the building came down with a big crash. Holy Berlin Mint, Pigman! What was that? I don't know, Meryl, but I think it was probably Mother. Oh, that'd make sense, said Meryl. Aye, it would, said Father. Now, I'm still tied up pretty tight. How about you? I am too, said Meryl, where it seemed to be a bit stuck. Well, I can probably help you with that, called out a voice from beside them. They looked across and they saw, hanging onto the door frame, looking in at them, was Basil. Oh, Basil! You got yourself free. Aye, he said, when the building fell over. My ropes came off because I was kind of tied onto the chair and I went crashing onto the ground. And the chair broke. Wasn't a very well made chair, to be fair. Well, that was lucky, said Meryl. Aye. So anyway, let me help you out of there. A couple of minutes later, Basil had freed them from the money printer, and they're kind of standing inside the money printer, looking down over the side of it at Eurovision and his henchmen, who were looking a bit sorry for themselves down on the end wall, stuck They couldn't reach up the sides of the walls towards the doorways, because if you imagine what it's like if you're in a room that only has a couple of doors and not many windows, and it's on its side, if you're on the end wall down at the bottom, you're a bit stuck. And that was the case for them. There was no getting out. Just then, the police commissioner poked his head over the door frame that Basil had looked in from. "Hello there, Pigman. What have you done this time?" "Well," said Father, "we thought we'd just, capture Eurovision and his henchmen." "Well done, Pigman." "Oh, so you're not too worried about the damage?" "Oh, Eurovision's a terrible, terrible, dastardly villain. It's this breaking this building is hardly the worst thing he's ever done, but well done stopping him." "Oh, thank you," said Father, not mentioning the fact that Eurovision had nothing to do with the building falling over. "Eurovision, you're coming with us," said the commissioner in a gruff voice with a triumphant look on his face. "Oh," said Eurovision, "I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for a Pigman and his meddling little piggy wiggy. How did you do that, Pigman?" "Oh, well, that would be telling, wouldn't it?" said Father with a wink. A few minutes later, Eurovision and his henchmen were taken away to prison, and Pigman and little Piggy Wiggy were celebrated as heroes by the police commissioner and all the police officers. Basil was had mixed feelings because his precious mint was destroyed. "But on the plus side," said Basil, "it means we'll get to build a new mint with shiny new machines." "I like shiny new machines." "Oh, so do I," said Father. They're great, aren't they?" Aye. They shook hands and off Pigman and little Piggy went. Meanwhile, the Pigmobile was finally starting to slow down. Mother had managed to make her way back out onto the Autobahn where people weren't quite as terrified of them. But they're still having a bit of a crazy time hoofing it along the Autobahn at 300 kilometers an hour, towing a big chunk of building along. It did create quite a scene, but most of the people after they went by, instead of thinking more about who that was and what that was, they're more focused on collecting up all the money that was left behind in their wake. It caused quite a stir, and that was the way that Eurovision's dastardly plan to take all that money for himself ended up distributing the money to a whole lot of Germany's population. The people who had paid for the money after all through their taxes. "Well, Mother, what do we do now?" said Melvin as they slowed down a bit. "Well," said Mother, "I suppose there's not much left of that building behind us now. We'll just keep on driving until it's all gone, and then we'll go back to the castle." "Okay, Mother." And so they drove along, with sparks flying up from the slowly shrinking building behind. A few hours later, Melvin and Mother and Father and Merrill were back at the castle, celebrating a job well done. "Well, Mother, you sure have a way to make a scene," said Father. "Oh, thank you, Father. I was quite happy with it." "Oh, and so were all the people around Germany that you drove past," said Merrill. "They were loving it, getting a whole lot of money for nothing." "Aye, that was quite fun, actually," said Mother. "You know," said Melvin, "I've been wondering something." "Well, what's that?" asked Merrill. "Well, you know how Pigman was Uncle Otto?" "Aye." "Well, who was Little Piggy Wiggy before Merrill became Little Piggy Wiggy?" "Oh, I don't know," said Father. "Alfredo!" Alfredo came into the room. "Aye, what's that, Father?" "Melvin was just asking, who is Little Piggy Wiggy? We know that Otto was Pigman, but who's Little Piggy Wiggy?" Oh, said Alfredo. Little Piggy Wiggy is Alfredo's niece. Oh, they said. What's her name? Oh, her name is Olivia. Oh, well, where's Olivia? Well, she went off on an adventure. She was chasing some kind of mystery, but she was meant to be back a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not sure what's happened to her. Ooh, I wonder if we need to go find her. She could be in trouble, said Father. I've been wondering that myself, said Alfredo. Actually, I should really check the mail. We've had quite a lot of mail piling up while I was away, and I haven't checked it. I'll go see if she sent any postcards saying what's up. Okay. Alfredo went out back into the kitchen and came back again with a whole lot of postcards. Oh, now this one's from her, but it's very peculiar. Look at what it says at the end. He held it up and they could all see. Help me. I'm in trouble. And that's where we end tonight's story. Good night.